Karen, I want to kind of move on to another topic that is really popular, and I've asked a few of our subscribers. I let them know that I would be interviewing you again, and one of the top questions for you was just to say it, the word and to leave it out there for you, and that is Bitcoin. We just wanted to get your thoughts on the digital currency. Is it something you've been looking at?
I've been looking at Bitcoin, and I'll tell you what I think about Bitcoin. I think that we've had something called the legal tender laws, which talks about what is legal tender, what is currency allowed to be. And the particular attraction of Bitcoin is that it's not illegal. It's one of the ways that you can make payment now, because we have these legal tender laws, and you're not allowed to a buyer and a seller are not allowed to agree on their own currency, regardless of whether that's an existing currency. So Bitcoin is a way of having a legal payment possibility. It's a way of giving flexibility to people on how they're going to make payments. So in that sense, it's very attractive. But I'll tell you, as a currency should be two things. It should not only be a way of making a payment, but it should be something called a store of value, which is that it maintains its value. And that's where Bitcoin is. It's not as secure as something else, like a precious metal. So I would say that in the fact that it gives us flexibility, it's good, but it's got certain drawbacks as well. And I know there are people that are very loyal to Bitcoin, and whenever I say anything critical of it, I get a lot of emails. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is not the only cryptocurrency. Yeah. It's not a store of value.
What in the end, when you look at what you just talked about for the first part of the interview, one of the things like we're seeing right now is with Russia and China doing these currency deals, which you did touch on. But I'm just kind of confused here, and if you could just help me out. So are these countries trying to destroy the dollar, or are the global elites trying to destroy the dollar, or is it? I'm just wondering if Putin is a sideshow or if Putin is the real deal when it comes to an active participant in trying to destroy the U.S. dollar.
It's the word quantitative easing. That was a term that was invented by the Fed so that what they were doing in sabotaging the dollar was going to be something that we weren't going to get alarmed at. One of the things that I've been putting up on the internet is a whole series of proof of how this has been treasonous. It has not been done by the outside. It has not been done by Putin. It has been done by the Federal Reserve deliberately, because what they wanted to force the world into a one world currency. And it was frustrated by the BRICS countries, and rightfully so. Who wants to have a world where we're being controlled by our currency? Nobody.
Okay, that's great. So now the Federal Reserve is basically essentially purposely committing suicide. How is it possible for the Fed to fail when they really do have complete control of the currency? They could print it out of existence.
Because it's paper. There's nothing backing it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Though, how come if the Fed really wants to destroy the dollar, then why don't they just do it? What are they waiting for?
That's what they're doing.
Well, how is it possible for them to fail though in destroying it?
It's not. They've done it. It's only a matter of time.
Okay. Yeah. No. So I'm totally on board. I get what you're saying, but my only concern is how is it even possible to stop the Fed from committing suicide when they literally control the keys to the kingdom when it comes to the U.S. currency?
They don't control it. When people drop the dollar, when all of the countries drop the dollar, it's no longer going to be the reserve, the international reserve currency. I think you're giving it a lot more strength than it possesses. It's on its last dying legs.
Yes, but I'm just saying though, you're saying the Fed wants to destroy the dollar. What I'm saying is, I don't see how anyone could stop them from destroying the dollar. So
because we switch to something else. There's dollars issued by the Treasury that are in the global debt facility. They've been printed. They have to be cut and issued in replacement for the Federal Reserve note. We just exchange them.
Okay,
That's
so
very simple.
essentially the Treasury Department of the United States takes over the job that it's supposed to rightfully have, which is in charge of the currency. Which actually, on a side note, and this is totally out of the blue, but I've always been curious, and no one's been able to answer it, and I'm totally might be catching you off guard on this one. But the Treasury issues our coins, and our coins are not Federal Reserve notes. Have you ever considered why doesn't the Federal Reserve issue our coins? Why does because that is money when the Treasury uses coins that are made of metal. What is the difference? Why does the Treasury issue coins? Because that is money.
I think it's because of the Constitution. The Fed should never, ever have been given the right to issue paper currency. And if you read the Constitution, it says to coin money. It may be that they thought that if they went that one last step, everybody would realize how unconstitutional the Fed is. That was one of the discussions that I had in the American Bar Association Journal. They wanted me to show how the Federal Reserve was unconstitutional. I did, but it's not quite as obvious.
Okay, so elected officials, they will eventually see, and you are showing them that the Federal Reserve is the enemy. It is essentially going to destroy the United States and bring us into a one world currency.
That's what they want to do, but the fact of the matter is that all of the rest of the world are giving us a hand up. They want to help us get rid of the Fed. So they together with us are going to get rid of, it's not just the Fed, it's the Bank for International Settlements and all of the central banks that are in printing the currency of the other countries.